let's talk about the news that Jamie has been waiting for over a year. Jamie, has it been a year? Halo Infinite came out last year, November-ish time, 2021. Yep. Finally, it's here. The big winter update brings with it network campaign co-op for 4 players. We'll get into that a little bit and Jamie's reaction to it. But there's also Forge is finally here. It's still the beta for Forge, but already people are creating weird and wonderful creations in the new map editor. There is new achievements. There is finally campaign mission replay, which you wouldn't have thought would be such a big deal to be part of a major post-launch update plan, content plan, but here we are, because you could never replay any of the missions in Halo Infinite. Whoops. There is a free 30-tier battle pass. There's new maps, new events. There is a Forge content browser. They've actually picked that out as a USP. Interesting. There's balancing updates, there's a better match experience beta, and there is local regional matchmaking. Those 3 things there really feel like they should have been from the very beginning. Regional matchmaking, better match experience, and balancing updates should be standard for your competitive shooter. I would have thought that should have been at launch. But anyway, there's a lot of things that should have been at launch. Poor Jamie is biting his thumb. I can actually see blood dripping down his chin here from he's biting so hard, trying to contain his feelings. But anyway, Jamie, over to you. How does it feel to finally have network campaign co-op?
Tainted. Tainted by tainted a love. Year. A year. A fucking year. Like, how do you release a Halo game without co-op and then make us wait a year? And I still haven't played it because I'm waiting for my co-op buddies to come together. Like, we need to work out a time. But that's on us. That's fine. But I'm very happy it's here because I finally get to play the campaign. But at this point, it's more a case of me saying, and I've done Halo 5, as opposed to, I can't wait to get into Halo. Like, it's not 5 Infinite, sorry, but like I'm so full of rage I don't even know which Halo I'm playing. I'm less excited and more just relieved that I get to do it finally, which I don't want to feel that way about Halo. But also, they screwed up again. So one of the things that I was hearing about, one of my friends was telling me about last night, is that they introduced Match XP finally, because the way they had it running before was that you could only progress with the Battle Pass by completing challenges. You only got so many challenges. Some of them were very specific to certain game modes. So the only way to progress in the Battle Pass was being forced to play game types you didn't want to play and do very specific things. Some of them were sort of encouraging some slightly, not toxic, but very frustrating game traits. So there was a lot of, like, get this many kills and capture the flag. So you would have people who would just abandon the objective because they were more focused on getting. Yep. So it was ruining the gameplay flow, and it was, which is frustrating because the one thing I will say for Infinite, from my experience of it so far, is the actual gameplay. Once you're in a multiplayer match with your friends and you're actually playing it, is stellar. It's so much fun. It feels like Halo has always felt, but just sped up a little bit, and it's fantastic. So they introduced Match XP so that now you get XP for every single match, which is great. So you can now start to, just by playing, progress the Battle Pass, and then you get a bonus boost on top with the challenges. That's fine. That's exactly how it should be. But you can get Match XP in bot matches. Now, bot matches are brilliant. I love bot matches because you can go in and just have a practice run, get to know a level, or you can just have some fun shooting AI. A lot of people do that rather than get into the online, the actual, let's face it, unfortunately, sometimes toxic world of online gaming.
Sure.
So,
it was one of the best features of the original Titanfall, is that it was a blend of bots with actual players, and it felt amazing to just kill a whole bunch of bots whilst there's other players running around as well.
It's, I go back to Perfect Dark. Like, Perfect Dark had bots, and it was fantastic fun. You could just, admittedly with those, you could just channel them into one doorway and just sit there seeing how many kills you can rack up, but, not the smartest of bots. But the the bot matches, a lot of people say they play it with their kids. They say because they can play that, they don't want to take them out online and introduce them to that whole mess, but they can sit and play some Halo with their kids and shoot some bots and have some fun and all this. So there's all sorts of different ways that people were enjoying it. The bot games were fantastic, but for some reason 343 were not happy because people were playing bot matches and getting experience points. And they apparently can't work out how to take match XP out of bot matches, so they just removed the entire game mode. It's gone now. They just don't have the first idea how to develop their own game, it seems. Like every new announcement of something new comes with the caveat of something breaking. There's apparently a bunch of bugs that have been introduced with the balance fixes, although I've yet to experience them myself, but I've seen some complaints online. It just, like, I want to be positive, but I've had a year of I wasn't actually expecting campaign co-op to drop in November, despite the fact that so I've had a year of this crap. So I'm hoping over the weekend I should get some time to sit down and actually play the campaign with my friends. I'm hoping it's going to be a good experience, and I'm going to get back into multiplayer and test that out over the weekend and see how it runs. But I just don't know at this point. Fingers crossed.
Well, fingers crossed as well. Because remember, the game was originally delayed a year because it was supposed to come out with the console in 2020. They delayed it a year. Only they had the multiplayer, but it was still in beta at that point. It was free to play. They released the campaign a year later, and that was bare bones. I say bare bones. I mean, if you're just a solo player, it was fine. But there's so many things missing. And then another year later, so 2 years from that original launch date, they're bringing a lot of the core features that should have been there day and date as they had been day and date for all previous entries in the Halo series, which is kind of staggering, really, to think, wow, this game was in development for a really long time and it had a lot of problems and it's still got a lot of problems. But now it feels like I really hope, because I want the team to win. I really want the team to do well and to get there, because 343 Industries have done a pretty good job ushering in this new era of Halo. I wasn't a big fan of 5, but the multiplayer was amazing in that. I loved the campaign in 4. Multiplayer was really not for me in that one, and it seemed like when Infinite was doing its free-to-play betas and there's the stuff coming out for trailers and stuff for the campaign, it felt like, okay, 343 have done it. They've managed to unite the two core pillars of campaign and multiplayer for Halo, and they're finally stepping out of the Bungie era, the shadow of Bungie. And unfortunately, it's just been disappointment after disappointment, problem after problem. And I really hope that going into next year, they can start to build properly on this this foundation that they've been trying to build. And I'm trying to remember back as well. Didn't we a few weeks ago? There was news that Halo was changing engines or something like that. It was changing its framework entirely. I can't remember if it's going into Unreal or if it's another game engine, but there was talk of, everyone was like, well, hang on, what about the Slipspace engine that you were talking about, you were championing to build for? But apparently it's so difficult to build for. And don't quote me on this because I don't know if it's accurate or not. Like, are they scrapping that and moving into an entirely new engine for future Halo games? I think that was the gist of the headlines at the time. I'll need to go back and check now.
I want them to do well, and I will say that the Master Chief Collection they've done sterling work. Like, it's fantastic, and the bits of Halo Infinite that I have played and that work are great. Like, that's the thing. There is some brilliance in there. Like, there's some really nice level design for the multiplayer maps. But even that, like, the game needs more maps, and they can easily fall down the rabbit hole of we have Forge, so players will make maps for us, which they kind of started doing. Sort of in the 4.5 era, there was a lot of maps that were Forge maps that came out through. So they need to be careful with that as well. They need their own content in there. But I'm fingers crossed. I want them to succeed because it's Halo, it's my baby. But I don't know. I'm constantly nervous now. After a year of waiting, it's going to take a bit for me to relax. when they do anything.